Welcome back, Tribe. I have an episode here from Officer Tatum, and it's a clip from why white people are tired of black people. And I think they were talking about, it was a whole panel discussion. Let's just get into it. He says, is systemic racism a scam?
And I think it's not just a fatigue from white people. I think other black people that are reasonable, functional adults are sick of it too. Every time you turn around, they're blaming race on things that obviously have nothing to do with race. Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is not a race thing. Caitlin Clark is a baller. Angel Reese is nowhere near as good as Caitlin Clark, and her attitude is pee poor, right? You look on her social media, she's dressing like she a stripper. I mean, she has no decorum. She's not a professional. She's not mature. She has this ghetto mentality and attitude that is not receptive in the WNBA when it comes to ratings and how they're going to grow and be successful. All of those things, and we've seen the fallout with that Shiloh lady who said the N-word to a kid, which I think she's a complete idiot for doing it. But I think what it does is it speaks to the issues of people being sick of the hypocrisy. You know, you have Carmelo Anthony stabbing a white kid in the chest and getting $500,000, and people are in the comments on the GoFundMe saying that's what he get. They've been doing this to us for years. So when you do this for a prolonged period of time, people get sick of it. And I think black people are sick of it too.
It goes back to what Chris Rock said. You have your N-words and then you have your black people. And across the board, I think most of us, as Brandon said, anybody with sense, we're tired of the N-words.
All right, let me ask this question. Let's deal with the elephant in the room, the question that
There we go.
White people watching this are probably having. Brandon, I'll start with you. Are there more N-words than regular black people? Are we outnumbered?
Well, man, you put me on the spot. Some people ain't gonna like what
That's
I have
what this
to say.
show does.
Mhm.
I'd say, unfortunately, I think that there's a slight majority that's N-words. I think that it's a dwindling population. And the reason I say this, because you can look at voting and it could be somewhat of a determinant.
It's not even just voting, man. It's the culture. Look, everybody's race has ghetto trash in it. I say this all the time. But for example, let's show the whites. Whites don't celebrate ghetto white trash culture, like trailer park trash, white trash, right? That's not celebrated. It's not pushed in the media. Those aren't at the forefront of movies, music, whatever it is, entertainment. They don't penetrate white culture and are white kids, you could say, or a ton of white kids or every other kid isn't watching that, like celebrating it, thinking it's cool, it's hip. But when you take ghetto black culture, same level of ignorance, same stupidity, same getting loud, same thing. People just don't want to be around that kind of person. Unfortunately, in the black community, it's idolized. It's pushed in the media, the music. Just turn on a rap song today. Look at the latest artists that they're pushing. Who's pushing these artists? Who owns these record label companies, right? Who's making these people famous? Start asking questions. Dig deep. Where are these people from? Who do they represent? Where's this money coming from? Right? Look at the diddly diddlers, right? Look at how corrupt and satanic this entire industry is. Then check out Hollywood. Why are they pushing this kind of messaging? Who's pushing this kind of messaging? It's kind of weird, bro, that if you're like, you know, one of these boss master planners and you go, how can we destroy the black community, right? Off the heels of the civil rights movement and leaders like MLK and Malcolm X and, you know, whoever else they had, Black Panthers and all that stuff that was going on. The black community was getting itself together, pushing for rights, trying to, you know, judge me on the content of my character, not my skin, all that stuff, blah, blah. And then somewhere, somehow, somebody up there, a bunch of people, don't know who, but they had this idea of, for example, say like the early advent of rap music was coming online, hip hop, whatever you want to call it. And then they're like, let's just only push the people with the most degenerate messaging, gangster rap, killing, robbing, stealing, you know, destroying communities, aggressive attitude, murder, all this stuff, like all the lyrics, you know, highly sexualized lyrics, cheating, all this stuff. Just turn on your latest rap song, right? So it's like, if you push that on a community for decades and then you split families apart and you take the man out of the house and then you're raised in already economic black holes, like the ghetto, the hood, right? But then you idolize ghetto culture. What do you think the percentage of the young kids coming up are going to idolize that? Because it's not just young black kids that are listening to this music. More white kids listen to rap and like trash hood culture music than does any other race, just by pure numbers, like overarching numbers of the white community. But just saying, a lot of kids say it's mainstream now. It's been turned into a commodity. It was at its very advent of like, here's the messaging from the hood. The people are struggling, life in the inner city, the struggles of being poor, keeping the little man down, blah, 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 right? It had a story behind the lyrics. It was just people kind of letting you into their life and the things that they had to deal with. And then it got commodified completely. They turned into like catchy beats, raunchy lyrics about sex. Then we upped it to like gangster rap, because it was so shocking when the first gangster rap album was coming out, talking about murders, killing, getting yours, defending your turf, moving drugs, blah, 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 all that crazy stuff. And then the kids were idolizing that. And then you had the movies that were coming out too, idolize that. So like gangster culture, thug life, all that shit exploded. And then now we have a community of kids that were basically brainwashed off that shit. And ta-da, you have a community where like the conduit of knowledge and who they look up to as their idols, that's not Einstein's, bro. It's not, Superman's. It's XYZ Lil Rapper, Lil Bozo, Lil Moron, who's like addicted to Xannies, Lil Moron that's like drinking whatever his purple drank, and it's filled with like codeine and whatever, and he turns into a mush head. He has no brains. And that's it. So if this is the leaders of your community, or what's left of it, of course. The question is, well, how many of them are normal versus how many of them are the hood booger mentality types? And it's just like, the ratio does not look good.
In fact, that you can look at the way black women vote, which is astronomically outrageous in my personal opinion. So with those voting numbers and with things that I see online, even when I was a police officer, I think unfortunately there's a good majority of black people who are like that. And I think that there's a small group of, or not say small group, but just a slight minority group of black people who are with it. Black people who understand politics, black people who love this country and that are willing to stand up on principle. I mean, I feel like I'm the only one out here half of the time, other than the people on this panel, but it seems like we're the few out here that's willing to say, no, Angel Reese is wrong for what she did. Or Angel Reese is not as good as Caitlin Clark. It's not a race issue. Shadur Sanders not getting drafted in the first round or the first overall pick. I knew he wasn't going to get drafted first overall way back when he was playing. Anybody that know football know he wasn't going to get drafted there. He shouldn't have. His attitude and character is bad. So, it's not a lot of us saying this. And the ones that say it, we get called Uncle Tom Coon sellouts. We get shamed for marrying white women or whatever the case may be. So I feel like it's a slight minority of us that are with it. Unfortunately, 51% is probably need to get on board.
I think there are far more ninjas than Negroes, and let me clarify and explain why. And Brandon, I want you to respond to this. There's a political party and a political movement and mindset that I believe births ninjas. And I won't even put a color on the ninja that I'm talking about, because there's white ninjas and black ninjas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this leftist demonic mindset that supports abortion, the killing of child sacrifice, the killing of babies in the wombs, that wants to destroy the nuclear family, that has redefined marriage. This is where ninjas come from. All of it. That drugs, that want to legalize every drug, that wants to defend every George Floyd, that their whole life is built around, hey, I'm going to tear down Thomas Sowell. I'm going to tear down Dr. Ben Carson. I'm going to tear down any black conservative, and I'm going to vote for the party that wants to kill babies on command, even after birth, that believes and supports, that's against merit and wants to DEI. This is where ninjas are born. These are the families that create ninjas. So whether they're ninjas or not, they're creating other ninjas with their mindset and what they support. And so for me, there's more ninjas than Negroes based off of how we vote. And I know I've only voted one time. I'm not a big believer in voting and all of that. But the people that support this particular party that is demonic and at the root of every pathology that is damaging black people, they're ninja creators. And so I think if they vote at a 90% clip for a political movement that is destroying the nuclear family, destroying black kids, defending George Floyd and making George Floyd an icon, Ninja creators create ninjas, and we got more ninja creators than we got
single mothers. The statistics ain't looking good, bro. Single mothers. What's the single motherhood rate in the black community? That'll tell you what these like ninja ratios are, as they're saying it. It's wild, man. The fact that this conversation is being had on air like this across the entire community, it's huge in the black community. But this wouldn't have been a thing just a few years ago when the Democrats were pushing DEI, super woke everything. Everybody's a victim. Who's got the most victim points? Now everybody's just, like the veil is off. Nobody cares about what you identify as. Nobody cares the color of your skin anymore. Nobody's trying to hear that shit. Everybody's exhausted, bro. We're sick of it, period. No matter what your skin color is, you act a fool, you're an idiot. I don't want to be around you. We're starving here. Shit's hard. Life has not gotten easier post-pandemic. A lot of us lost our jobs. Some lost their businesses forever. Couldn't get that back. Their lives changed completely. Watch the government lie to us. Watch them tell us to get certain medicine in our body. That shit didn't work like they claimed it would. Right? So many adverse effects. It's like, where's the list at? They're not releasing the diddler list. It's so much shit, man, that's going on in society today that people are exhausted. People are exhausted. They got nothing left in the gas tank, and everything is setting people off. This is why you see the animals are caged and they're nervous and they don't have a future that they can see stability in. So every little thing is setting people off now. Everybody's got a collective, I don't give a fuck attitude. I got problems too, bro. Don't have time for yours. And this is what society has wrought. Look at this. I think it's only going to get worse.
got the other. Brandon, your response to that?
Well, I'm hoping that one day we can find a solution to the problem. Unfortunately, I almost believe that it's like a Titanic situation, meaning that the community's reputation is drowning fast. And the people who want to recover can jump off that boat, get to the lifeboat and get to safety, because I don't know if it's a way to recover it. My daddy used to tell me that when he was in high school, because he made straight A's and he was on the football, they used to play sideline kill back in the day where they tackle on the street. And he said he was one of the prominent players. They picked him every time. And then the report cards come out. He made straight A's and B's, and they didn't want to pick him no more because he wanted to be like the white man. That was when my daddy was in high school. Then when I was in high school, the same thing. I used to be the one clowning people. I had a gold teeth in my mouth. And if you are articulate, you wear your pants around your waist. I'll give you an example. It's a guy named Chris Parham. I'll never forget Chris Parham. His dad was a preacher. He used to come to the school with his pants around his waist with a belt on, and he used to have to call his daddy sir. And we clowned Chris Parham to no end. Chris Parham was a virgin. We clowned him to no end. He don't get no girls. He got to say yes, sir, to his daddy. And what do you know? To be honest, that was what black people used to be like. It's being respectful to your father. It's coming and dressing up for success, going to school and getting an education, not having children out of wedlock. And we have completely fallen off the cliff. And Jason, you said it pretty clear, is the voting tells the full story. How on planet Earth are we the only people that are voting for a party that don't give a flying flip about us? We are literally becoming politically irrelevant. You give it one more or two more election cycles, then the Hispanic will be the majority minority. And therefore, the Democrats will pander to them and look no further to pander to black people. We are losing on both ends because Republicans don't need us to vote at all. They pretty much don't need us at all. Donald Trump won in a massive landslide, and like 97% of black women voted Democrat. I'm telling you, get these illegals, they start getting legal citizenship, they start having babies, the next generation come through, and black people can vote for Democrats at 100%. And still lose an election by a landslide. And this is why I say there's more ninjas. And then every aspect of life, pastors, athletes, millionaires, doctors, lawyers, Harvard graduates, intelligentsia, you name it. I cannot find a majority of black people that got common sense. I was talking Ryan Clark the other day. He commented on my post. He was railing against RG3 for marrying a white woman, saying that he don't have the ability to talk about black issues because his wife is white. Yet Ryan Clark can talk about white issues and his wife is black. But Ryan Clark failed to mention, and he don't want to really make it public as much as he claimed he does, is that he had a baby with a white woman. I don't get the utter hypocrisy from the ninjas. That's why we have this issue right now, is because there's hypocrisy that's not checked. But I pray to God that one day, almost like a Martin Luther King speech, I pray that one day we'll get back to God and we'll get back to promoting the family. We'll get back to elevating ourselves to stature and prestigiousness that will help our youth see a better way.
I love Jalen Hurts. I've said from the way, if they say,
yeah, that's wild. Especially like if you look up the amount of abortions Planned Parenthood had, you know, what that represents in terms of the population of what the black community could have been, since we're talking about like political voting bloc power. Damn, dude, did that do a number on the community? It's staggering. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I remember it was tens of millions. Can you imagine? And where's most of the Planned Parenthoods located? And why do they put them there? You know, if you're a young buck and that light bulb goes off in your head and you're wondering, like, why the fuck is the ghetto always filled with what's on the corner store? Think about it. Why are liquor stores everywhere? Why are they trying to get us drunk? Why are there abortion clinics nearby? Why are there XYZ nearby? Just ask yourself these kind of questions, man. Look at what's available in the hood. Look at how they treat poor. It's just a poor person thing, but predominantly poor people tend to be black in this conversation specifically. Hood culture. It's cool that this conversation is being had. Can they save themselves? I don't know, dude. Like, imagine yourself, young black man being raised in potentially a broken home. Statistically, it's probable you're coming from a single mother household. And like you turn on the TV or music or whatever, and like, who are you listening to? Lil Moron sipping drank lean and Xannies. He's a pill popper. He doesn't even push dope like the gangster rappers in the 90s that were getting rich pushing dope, doing gangster shit. These guys get diddled in the booty hole by Diddy talking about, I'm sipping lean and drank. Yeah, because you're trying to forget Diddy's up in your booty diddling you. So they're on pills, bro, trying to forget the trauma because that's what it cost them to make it. So you're listening to these pill popping heads whose booty hole's falling out, and you're trying to get on the same train that they are, doing the same shit. They can't even rap today. They can't even speak words. They use auto-tune and they sound ridiculous, bro. Mumble rap. You can't even understand half the shit they're saying. And then when you look at the graduation statistics, like how many people can read at the, you know, level that they're required to at high school level, it's like you got people in high school like a third grade reading level. Most kids are not. I wouldn't say most kids aren't graduating, but the graduates are so, dude, it goes so deep. It's sad. It's sad. It's not even funny, actually. It's fucking sad. You know, I always said like the black community is kind of the test bed for social engineering, and then they roll that shit out to everybody else, and you're seeing it. You're seeing it happen. Yeah. Because in the 70s, they were pushing strong, independent boss babe on the black community. The black community was the very first one where they were pushing strong, independent women don't need no man. The government was pushing women on welfare. You don't need a man in the house. What's a man good for? They were having that conversation in the 70s for people that don't know. And then you spawn like 30, 40 years later, this is what it looks like. And the white numbers are going up too. The Hispanic numbers are going up. The Asians are holding strong because culturally they're just different. They're very rigid. But white and Hispanic communities, their numbers are rising. It's crazy, man. I don't know. I tend to think we're only as strong as our weakest link. And if our weakest links, if you take a look at society and you don't like what you see, boy, we're in trouble. We're in trouble, man. I don't know. I don't think there's a nation on earth that could ever stop America. Period. I don't think there's America can almost take on the fucking world. It's protected by oceans on two sides, Canada up north, Mexico south, biggest trading partners, allies. I mean, what nation threatens America? Nobody, really. America's King Dick, dude. The only way America falls is when the populace starts fighting each other, civil war. That's how a country destroys itself. That's how an empire destroys itself. You know, we're so weakened by fighting amongst ourselves that somebody comes knocking at the right moment, and there goes the American hegemony. It's unfortunate, you know. I always say, look up, boys. All this shit's kind of a distraction for what's really going on. Look who's getting rich. Look who controls the money supply. Look who's building bunkers for themselves. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Look at the people signing deals, ink on the paper. Who's benefiting from the big, beautiful bill? Well, for example, the military just got a budget increase. That's kind of wild. I thought we were, you know, cutting the budget. How did we up the budget in a conservative government, for example? It's little things like this, bro. When you start to piece it all together, you'll see who the real enemy is. It's always been class warfare. Anyways, as usual, boys, we'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves.